guys, it's Sam and welcome to today's video. Now, I am going to say right from the start, I am trying to film this all in one take because it is currently 12:15, as in midnight, and I have the vet coming out at 8 o'clock in the morning, but I wanted to get a video filmed this week. It's not to plan. I'd hope to do like a day in the life or something like that, but you know, horses, and as I say, I'm waiting for the vet. Philly has got a swollen leg, so yeah. But anyway, basically I thought I would just do a bit of a Q&A with sort of all of the questions that I get asked on Instagram, anything like that really. It's going to be in a random order and I'm going to do minimal editing, so just a heads up. Before I get started as well, please be sure to like, comment and subscribe, as it really means a lot to me, and yeah, just would like to grow the channel and share the love with everyone. So without further ado, I've got all of my questions written in this nifty little book because I film on my phone, but we will get started. So, bit of background, I have 6 horses, so a lot of these are sort of flicking between the horses, and yeah. So somebody has asked, who is your most difficult horse? And for this, it's really a toss-up between 2 of them. If we're talking on the ground, then I would definitely say Merlin is the most difficult. We've had a lot of issues in the past with him taking off, coming to and from the field, and just overall being quite strong and opinionated. He's very flighty, he's very spooky. He doesn't like new things or change of routine, but thankfully, since moving to our own yard last March, he is much better and a lot more settled, so hopefully, you know, we've sort of seen the end of that and those issues. In terms of ridden, I'd say probably Philly. She is a very opinionated mare. She's quite hot, you know, typical chestnut mare. And yeah, if she's not happy with something, she will make sure that everybody knows. Currently, she's not being ridden because we are sort of going down the medical route to find out if there are any reasons that we've not found in the past when we've tried to go down the medical route that are causing issues, and she is currently being treated for ulcers once again because that's quite a common problem with her. But yeah, she's a tough one. I have been thrown by her quite badly a lot, but you know, we will persevere, we'll get through it, and we will see. Now, best behaved horse. I wouldn't actually say any of mine are particularly well behaved. You know, they're rescue ponies. I like to show the journey. They're not perfect. You know, they all take a lot of work. But if we're talking sort of my most advanced horse, it would probably be Gem. You know, she shows at the highest level. She does the most competitions, you know, all things like that. And for the most part, she is quite good. But same thing, showing, we have a lot of trouble because she doesn't like standing in the lineup. She rears. She'll do a perfect show and then show her belly to the judge, which doesn't go down too well showing, just in case you didn't know that. But yeah, she is really good, and she's the one I can do anything with. I could load her on the box and it wouldn't matter if we turned up to a show, arena hire, cross country. The only thing that she is not a happy hacker. I couldn't take, last year we took Philly to Delamere Forest with a friend's horse. I couldn't do that with Gem because we just walked around. If we were going and we were going to like do some more cantering and, you know, fitness work, it'd be fine. But she is not the kind of pony that wants to go out and just wander about aimlessly. That's just not her. So that brings us quite nicely into, who is your favourite pony? Now, I know everyone who has multiple horses says we don't have a favourite, which is true. You know, we love them all the same. But Gem was my first pony. I've done everything with her from day one. She was pretty much a wild pony off the mountain. She'd had nothing done with her, and we did literally everything, and I backed her myself. So Gem is she is my special pony. Now, the next couple are sort of to do with products and that sort of thing. So first up, somebody has asked, what is your favourite feed? Now, I feed my horses on Pure Feed, so if you don't know who the Pure Feed company are, I highly recommend you look them up. Honestly, since we've swapped them onto that feed, the results have been incredible, and I just can't tell you how happy I am. And for supplements, I feed mainly the Premier Performance CZ supplements. If you don't know, they are highly, I don't know how to word it, they've had a lot of research into them basically, so they're highly scientific, that's the word. and, you know, I think it says something about they have a chain of amino acids, which basically tells the horse's brain how to use sort of what's in it to the most effective way. And I've not been using them for long, but the differences I've seen, it's only actually Philly who's on them currently. She's on the Gastro Premier, the Moody Mare Plus, and we have the calming powder, so that when we're going to a show or anything for a couple of weeks, she can have that, just to get it in her system, because she is going to be doing some in-hand showing this year, provided the vet thinks that is okay. But yeah, so that's what I feed. I also feed some of the Keyflow Pink Mash and the Denji Alpha A just to bulk out their feeds a bit, and I like feeding mash because it means that they're getting plenty of water, especially in winter when they're less inclined to drink. Next up is what are my favourite equine products. Now this could mean literally anything, but I'm going to go with sort of things that I use daily that are maybe less popular. So I have the Equilibrium massage pad, the massage therapy pad, and I got that for my birthday last year and I use it all the time. It is brilliant. It is so good to use on a day where you're not riding, and especially on days where I am riding. So I'll put it on for half an hour and then ride them, and it just helps loosen up the back muscles, and it is really great. Similar sort of measure to that, something I've got more recently, you might have seen in my tack haul last week, I bought the Peony heat pad, and that has been a godsend. Philly's been quite tight in her poll, she's been quite stressed. It always happens with the weather and everything this time of year, so where she's been quite tight in her poll, I've been able to put the heat pad on, and it has really helped to loosen her up and warm those muscles up so that there's less problem. So I'd say they are probably my two go-tos. But then if we were talking sort of saddle pads, things like that, I'm a sucker for anything off the track equine. I am sponsored by them, but all views are my own, and this is the first year I've been sponsored, and I have been using their products for about 3.5 years now, since not long after they started up. So that brings us on to dream sponsors. I am lucky enough to be sponsored by my dream sponsor, which is Off the Track Equine. Jade, who runs it, is brilliant. I now consider her a really great friend, and she is so supportive. And yeah, I wouldn't really want another sort of clothes, equestrian fashion sponsor anytime soon, that's for sure. But I would love to be sponsored by a feed company, you know, preferably Pure Feed. And it would be the dream to be sponsored by Premier Performances, or if we were going sort of down the horsey stuff route, I mean, who doesn't want to be sponsored by Shires? It's just one of those, isn't it? Unpopular, I probably wouldn't want to be sponsored by Lemieux just because I am happy with the saddle pads that I have from Off the Track. That is just personal preference. I would love to be sponsored by Polyjumps, but you know, these aren't things that are going to happen anytime soon, and I am fine with that. I don't do social media to try and get followers or to try and get sponsors. I do it to try and promote the hashtag Adopt Don't Shop movement, and to show that rescue horses can have a job and they can do well. Just because it might take a little bit longer doesn't mean that, you know, they're not worth anything. So yeah. Next up, somebody's asked what my winter tips are, and I can make a video on this, but really just keep warm. The more layers you have on, you can always take layers off, but you can't add layers if you don't take them with you. And then just little things, warm water in their feeds to keep them warm. Make sure that you have plenty of spare rugs so that if they get soaked through, you can swap them into another rug without worrying that they're cold. Yeah, pretty much. Another one is, well, I'll skip it and then I'll do this one. Somebody has put, what is your favourite brand? Now, I love Off the Track Equine, like I say, dream sponsor. But then, same thing, my favourite feed brand is Pure, my favourite supplement brand is Premier Performances, Jumps is Polyjumps. I love Equilibrium Therapy, all of their products are really good. So I've got a few, I can't really pick one, but yeah, Off the Track is very close to my heart. You know, first sponsor and all that as well, so it's quite, you know, a special brand for me. And somebody has asked, if you could have one other horse out of everyone that you know, so like horses that I know, who would it be? And it would definitely be Big Mac, my friend Sam's horse, who is currently with me on box rest. This is the second time in a year he's been with us on box rest, because he's a big doofus and he kicks himself. And that's how he injures himself. He literally doesn't know where his legs are. He's over 17 hands and he's 5, and he's just gorgeous. Which brings us on to, do you want another horse? and in answer to that, we will be looking for another horse probably next year, potentially another 2. Mum would like to get something quite cob-like, you know, a bit heavier, because if you don't know, we lost our oldest horse late last year, and we don't want another one to replace him, but Mum would like something a bit more sensible to ride from next year, because most of the horses are my rides, not my mum's, as they're quite small and she doesn't feel comfortable riding them as she is heavier than me. So yeah, and I would like an off-the-track thoroughbred, because as much as Philly is a thoroughbred, she's not off the track, so she's not eligible for all of the ROR competitions. Somebody has asked what is my favourite off-the-track equine product, and definitely my saddle pads, all of them, I love them all, but I do find the sweatshirts like this one that I'm wearing, they are really comfortable and they're nice and warm, so they are probably my favourites. I love the bonnets that go with the saddle pads as well. Somebody has asked, how has lockdown affected you and your horses? I will be honest, I am very lucky. I'm not a particularly sociable person anyway, so being home hasn't been a big struggle for me. And with having my own yard, I've been able to spend every day at the yard all day. So I know a lot of yards have been on a rota, I've not had that problem. So I have been really, really lucky. It's been a bit weird not being able to show and things like that when I had a lot of plans, but it has meant that I've had more time to put into the horses. Jem is going absolutely amazing because of it, and I've been able to back both of my youngsters, so really I'm just looking at the positives. It's been a horrible year and there's been so much heartache for a lot of people, but I have been very, very lucky and I've not been too affected by it. Next, do you think the horse world can be too judgy? Yes. I think it completely depends. I think it can be very supportive and people will rally round. Like when there was the fire at the Echo Arena car park a few years ago at the Liverpool Horse Show, everyone rallied round brilliant and Aintree opened their stables up for the horses, but, you know, people are very quick to judge. I mean, I get messages and I don't have a huge following of people who don't know the circumstances, they don't know the horses. For example, I get a lot of hate over the fact that Jem is ridden in a Pelham. Fair enough, each their own. I never used to like Pelhams until I started using one. But the reason I have Jem in a Pelham is because in a snaffle, she will take a hold of the bit and run through it. It doesn't matter how many lessons I've had, you know, other people riding it, it doesn't matter, that is just Jem. She just doesn't respect it. She was fine until she got fit, and then once she was fit, that was it. Whereas in a Pelham, she is really light in my hands, so where she'll pull through the snaffle, she quite often gets rubs sort of on the corners of her mouth. Pelham doesn't happen. You know, I barely have to hold her in the Pelham. So that is why. And I think if people just asked, why do you use a Pelham? I'd tell them. But it's the hate in the sense of, you shouldn't use a Pelham, you're abusing your horse, which is a bit harsh because it's not true. Any bit is harmful in the same hands, in the same sense that a hackamore can be harmless in the wrong hands. So, on that note, somebody has asked, what is my favourite show? Definitely the Equine, what's it called? The Equine Sports UK Grassroots Championships, ES UK, that's why I couldn't remember the full name. It's at Arena UK, it's Grassroots Championships, and it's actually the first championship that Jem got a place in at. She got a third, so yeah, quite a lovely show. I really enjoyed it. I will hopefully be going back this year if it goes ahead. I also love all the shows at Aintree, and I love Supreme Showdown. If you're in the Northwest, you might know those. Everyone knows Aintree, but yeah. And someone's asked, what's your favourite class to compete in? I love when there's a rescue class. It's just me. I've got rescues. I like there to be a rescue class. By the same token, I like the alternative coloured classes because with Jem being around, she's not always the judge's cup of tea. But just the typical, I always do the C and D classes or the mountain and moorland if it's not split. And I like the riding club pony class because I like the fact it's a little jump because Jem really enjoys that. What is my worst riding experience? I've probably had 2 since I answered this on my Instagram. Oh, 3. First time I took Philly out, it's all with Philly. We went to the beach and second I got on her, she went bronking across the concrete and then she flew backwards, reared up and flipped back into the horse box. And if the horse box hadn't been there, she'd have come down on top of me in the middle of the road. Luckily, she only came down on my leg and I was okay, thankfully, but it was quite nerve-wracking and yeah, it just wasn't great. And then first show last year, she did the same thing. She did really well in the in-hand in the morning. And then I got on her to warm up and she just flew backwards and sort of her back legs crumpled underneath her. So we took her home because we thought something's not quite right. But then we had a few good shows where we didn't take a friend's horse with us. And then when we had a friend's horse with us again who wasn't being ridden, I took Philly to the warm-up. This was October last year. And she went bucking bronco and spinning to try and get me off. By that point, it was quite clear there's not actually an issue. She's just throwing a bit of a temper tantrum because she's been taken from her friend. So we put her on the lunge. I got back on and she was absolutely fine. She went in and placed. So definitely learned a lot from all of them. So next up, where are your horses from? 5 of them are from Horse Sense, and Gem was bought through a private home, but they hadn't really done anything with her, and they got her from Beeston Auction. What is my next show? I've actually entered a couple of days ago the Equestrian show that's being held at Croft Top on the 25th of April, which is quite exciting. So if you're in the Northwest and you're going, let me know in the comments and, you know, come say hi. Obviously socially distanced because of everything that's still going on. What is the biggest I've jumped? 1.30 metre on a filly. How old are your horses? I'll have to remember now. Marley's 4, Sparky's 5. Gem is 9 this year. Hope is 10. No, that's wrong. Merlin is 11, Hope is 12 now, and Philly is 13. How big are your horses? Marley is about 13.1, Gem is 13.2, Hope is around about 14, Sparky and Merlin are 14.2, and Philly is 15.2, 15.3. Would you ever put any of your mares in foal? Now, I am actually planning on breeding Gem in about 2 years' time to a Welsh Section D stallion because she's got a lot of bone. So I'm not going to put her to a massive one, but it is going to be something slightly bigger. And I am really excited. But I can't breed Philly and Hope because it's part of the contract with Horse Sense. You're not allowed to breed the horses, which is fair enough because they don't want to promote mass breeding when there's so many horses out there that need homes. What is my favourite discipline? I love show jumping, but I mostly compete in showing. That's sort of how it's worked with the horses that I have. But yeah, that is it for the questions. If you have any more, put them in the comments down below and I will either answer in the comments or answer in my next video, whatever the preference is. It depends how much explanation I think it needs. So yeah, that's it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'm sorry that it's a bit of a random one and that it's been 3 sit-down videos in a row. I will try my best to next week get a video with the horses featured in it. I might just film riding Gem or something. I was going to vlog clipping, but I clipped Philly today, ready for the vet in the morning, just in case he wants to check her leg or anything. I just clipped it so that he doesn't have to, frankly. So I took the rest off as well while I was there because I have been planning on full clipping it anyway. But yeah, thank you for watching. Please be sure to like, comment and subscribe. And if you would like to buy anything from Off the Track Equine, I will leave their links in the description below. And be sure to use my discount code SAM10 for 10% off on all of your orders. Thanks guys, and I'll see you all next time.